crazy, man.
It's insane. I really got my heart pumping.
So I do have a couple questions, but I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves. Yeah.
Well, I'm Elyse Vox. V, as in Vox. But what's another word that starts with a V? Vehicle. V as in vehicle. I'm Elyse Vox because I'm a vehicle for sound because I
She's
sing.
going places.
A vessel.
Yeah, a V as in vessel. That's another good one. Yeah, and this is Lakewood.
I'm Lakewood. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What up?
And my name is Cam Gnarly. I'm a rapper, singer, songwriter, and all-around radical dude.
That's true. I can vouch for that.
Big facts, radical dude.
Big facts.
Yes, sir, ski.
So, and I was doing a little bit of research, and did you know that there is somebody that did a review on your Nice to Meet You? It was like a critique all the way from Portugal.
From Portugal? No, I didn't. I don't even think I know anyone in Portugal.
Yeah?
Do tell. We don't know about this.
It was this man. I didn't catch his name, but he has quite a few followers, and he did a review on your guys' EP.
That's right.
Was it a terrible or a wonderful review?
It was a good review.
Okay,
it was
hey,
in
let's
English?
go. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it was in Portuguese. I had to like
Translate it.
translate it. Yeah,
That's
but
pretty cool.
he said that you were from Georgia. Okay, yeah, I don't know
This
how he
sounds
got.
like if he's speaking in Portuguese, this could be my friend from Brazil.
Maybe,
Yeah. Oh, look at us.
or maybe it's Portuguese. Oh my gosh, am I
I'll have to
messing
ask
this
him.
up? I just said Portugal. It might be Portuguese in Brazil.
Hey, you never know.
God,
Portuguese.
But
yes, I am from Georgia.
hey,
I'm from a small town called LaGrange, and we also called it Lestrange growing up because it was a little strange, living in a small town. Our mall was called The Small because the best store it had was like the sock shop and maybe JCPenney.
You sound like a really good song, possible names. Like a project called Lestrange. and
Lestrange,
a mall called
right.
Small.
I need to rep my city more, that's for sure.
That's hard.
Where'd they say I was from?
well, I looked you up on a different thing. Your family's from Denver.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. And you were born in Pasadena.
I was.
Okay, and you guys are all living in Long Beach in this. Or no,
Not
you're,
Cam, but
you're
we
in
are.
the Inland Empire.
Yeah.
Okay, and where were you born?
I was actually born in Santa Monica, and from Los Angeles originally, my family. But I grew up in the Inland Empire, San Bernardino. So that's where I represent the North End of San Bernardino. But I'll be everywhere: uptown, downtown, Switzerland, all around California. I met Lakewood, Portugal. Yeah, I be in Portugal. Apparently, we all in Portugal. But I met Lakewood a few years ago just from him doing beat sets and us just rapping together and watching horror movies and stuff. And then he hit me up to be a part of this fire song, introduced me to Elyse, and I loved the record as soon as I heard it, and we wrote it together, and it was fire. Shout out to everybody who listens to it, all the way in Portugal too. Appreciate y'all.
All right. Well, so I wanted to ask, when did you guys know you wanted to do music? Back in the day, just even when was the first spark?
I'll let Lakewood start with this one.
Yeah, when I was a youngin', I always liked making noise, and I think my parents knew that, and I think they put me in some types of stuff as a kid, like music makers, or like some little groups where like they would just like have kids fuck around with tambourines and like little instruments and stuff, and then my mom was played piano and like a few other instruments and was always about it, so had me playing piano from when I was like 5, when I could like first kind of sit down and actually learn how to do something. And then I just love making noise, how it made me feel, and like making a sound come out of something that I don't know. Yeah,
Kind of like a more of a percussive thing, like where you started. Or?
Yeah, either that or just like you can make sound without it being your voice, and I think that just kind of like latched onto me as a kid. Like instead of speaking, you can do so many other things to express yourself and to express like the way you feel and stuff like that. So I think that stuck with me from a little kid, and it could be simple, like like some stomp shit, to up to like beautiful songs and thought out albums and everything, but it's not all considered music, but just noise and sound. Like, it feels good.
I feel like he's been doing this forever, and he's just like, it's second instinct for, first, what is that called? It's just instinct for him in general, yeah. So it's been really nice working with him. I just recently discovered in myself that I want to pursue like songwriting and music in the last 3 or 4 years. But I've always been a singer, and I've always loved singing since I was a baby. Like, I grew up in church. And then I went on to study musical theater and all of that. And I've just always couldn't live without making sound with my mouth. And I just, like, everywhere I go, it felt like breathing. So I've always known. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just walking around like that. But I definitely always knew that song was my calling.
So it's kind of like choir and like jazz.
Definitely
like
grew up in choir and
theater,
always fell in love with jazz from that age. Yeah, theater. I did musical theater. I studied that in college for a little bit. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
I started doing music pretty early. I went to a performing arts elementary school, so it was kind of like I thought that was normal school, but I didn't realize it until like way later that like what was happening at my school, people doing plays and learning different instruments and learning how to play music. Like, I learned how to play piano and a little bit of trumpet and sang in the choir and did plays, and was doing all that like when I was a really little kid, and then I got back into it like way later into like rapping, and kind of just became like a second nature. Like, I took what I knew about singing and applied it to rap and had like my own like melodic push to it, and that's kind of just been my whole thing. But yeah, sound, like what Lakewood was saying, like I feel like I liked sound before I knew what words were. Like, I was around people who sang before I knew what we were singing or what the lyrics were, you know? Kind of like when you hear a song when you're a kid and you're just singing it because you absorbed it, and then you hear it later on in life and you're like, oh, I know the words like the back of my hand. Like, that's how I got into music. Like, I already knew how to do music before somebody taught me how to, like, oh, this what you do, and da-da-da. Like, a lot of stuff I already picked up on the natural side, so, yeah.
And that's really cool because I feel like I don't know how many types of musicians or artists there is, but between like people that like sing and people that like make sounds, like, you know, they're two different backgrounds, and think about it in totally different ways, problem solve the same thing in a very different way. It's just so cool.
I grew up with piano and sound training, just ear training, and Suzuki, I think it was called. My mom taught me that at a young age, and then I studied music and a song and singing and voice, so that it all kind of combined together. So I had a little background in music theory, and it helps to communicate well with a producer for sure.
Yeah, no, I feel like we would get into it music theory wise when we would need to, like working on the album. A lot of the stuff just kind of worked already because we both knew what we were doing. But when it came down to, you know, like certain ranges or key changes or whatever we were trying to do,
Modulations,
right? Nah, but we were able to, you know, just come together and figure it out musically. But I'm glad that we both, you know, have that knowledge already of music theory and stuff, because that just makes it easier to work with people, and it's good. Build those alliances too. Like, she can sing, that's a whole different instrument completely. Yeah. And like a whole different way you got to think about music theory too. Singers have to think about it a lot more so than other, you know, instrumentalists.
You have to fit inside of the music just like any other instrument does.
Yeah.
And a lot of that also is letting your ears take over instead of like getting into it like mathematically. Especially like performing, they say like, okay, practice everything, but when you start performing, forget everything, just be there.
And studying voice for a while in school was extremely helpful, but at the same time, now I'm like wanting to do music, my own music. I have to completely let go of how I sound. I have to completely forget about it, and I definitely like train it in a sense, but at some point I just let it go, and I have to let the emotion carry my voice, because I've had the training to get my voice there. I have to stop thinking about it at some point. It's got to come from my gut, you know?
How did y'all meet together to start collabing? Like, did it start with you and Lakewood? Did it start with Lakewood and Cam? Like, how did that start?
Me and Lakewood linked up early. Like, I had dropped the album
first in the timeline.
Yeah. I think the last thing that we did before, like, we did a live stream for during COVID, right? Didn't we do that? Was that me and you and Phantom at the shop?
Yeah, it sounds
with Underground tapes, right?
Yeah,
on like Twitch or something.
Yeah,
and that's when we like reconnected, and that was early 2020, maybe like 29. Like yeah,
because I was staying out in the IE for a little bit.
Yeah,
before that, met with through Phantom Threat at the
shop,
serious cartoons out there,
and then I remember. Lakewood, we would stay in contact because I think we had label homies. I pressed my cassette tapes through a mutual friend, and I would hit him up to find out more information about it. And then one day he hit me up and was like, "Yo, I'm working with this artist. She's a fire singer, and we're finishing up this album, and I want you on this song. Can I sing you this song?" He shot me the song, and I automatically was like, "Yo, this is fire." But one thing I do remember, he was just like, "Yeah, but she's very particular. Like, we're gonna have to like." She wants to talk to you about your verse before you do it. And I was like, okay, I kind of like that because I feel like it's hella annoying sometimes. Like if I'm not in the right headspace for someone to just like send me a song and expect me to like be where they are in that song without any context or info.
She guided you a little
bit.
Yeah,
and I really appreciated that. It showed me off top like she was thorough, like, and I'm a thorough performer and thorough songwriter, so I started rapping off ciphers, like freestyling with each other and coming up with stuff off the top of our head and then putting it on paper. So, working with somebody like Elyse, who's just like very hands-on and was very like, she understood music theory. She understood what the message of the song was and what the verse or what my juxtaposition from her position wanted to communicate. And, I understand that there's a psychology to it, and we were able to like really break it down to what we were trying to communicate. And the verse came out fire. And I remember, I think I sent you like a freestyle of it first. Like I remember freestyling it. Like I didn't want to. I was listening to like a lot of Young Thug at the time. Like his album So Much Fun, Free Young Thug, Free YSL. But I was listening to that a lot, and he's like super melodic on that. And I was like, I want to come in like super free. Like I just want to come in like I'm just like a background vocalist who just grabbed the mic and about to go in. And she really liked it, and she was hands-on, like, oh, I like this part. We should like do this part, or I want it to communicate this at the end. And yeah, so that was my perspective of how it happened. But I don't know what they talked about or how he introduced you to my music. But I liked everything I heard from the moment that I heard the song.
Yeah.
We did try to find a couple features, and I will say
we had that song. We were working on that song for a long time, and we had a couple different people try verses on it and like see how it felt, and it didn't feel right. And I just remember like epiphany moment, because we were like, she just kept telling me like, oh, hit up your rapper friends, like hit up a rapper we need. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And I couldn't think of anybody. And then finally I was like, you know what, fucking Cam Gnarly, like it hit me. And I was like, that would be perfect. Like, what am I thinking? And he was super down. It all just came together. It worked perfectly.
And to talk about how I met Lakewood, he's part of this label in Long Beach called Green and Gold, which is also my sister is kind of ahead of that label. And
Shout out Green and Gold.
Yeah, they're the best.
Shout out Shane, your sister, Green and Gold.
Dope artists, and
we might be having Chef Michaels here.
That's right.
At some point.
Do it.
Basico.
Yeah, that's the man. Love you, Mike.
Yeah, and so he came up to Shane, my sister, and was like, "Hey, do you know any like jazz singers and people?"
Yeah, I've been producing for a while and just had so many beats sitting. And I was like, I don't really want to work with a rapper. I want to see if I could get a female to sing on this. I'd done that in the past and it worked out. So I was looking for a minute, and then Shane introduced us like, oh yeah, she sings. You said you were looking for a singer.
And we vibed instantly. Like he played a track, and I think the first track we wrote together was "Got It Bad."
Really?
Yeah, it just happens so quick. Right. Yeah. And like I had little thoughts in my head about it, but we just got in the studio that night or when we met the first time and just made it. And then it grew from there, of course. But
how long ago was that?
Like
we met on 4th of July. I want to say 2020.
COVID? Yeah, maybe.
During COVID?
Okay. Does it during COVID?
I feel like
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's all a blur now.
So maybe like 2 years, maybe a year.
I
And
feel
a
like it
half,
was
maybe.
like 2019.
I feel like
I feel
we met
like
2
it was
years
right
ago.
before COVID. Yeah. I feel like it was right before all the Gucciness.
It's been great, and he has a lot of the influences that I had as far as jazz goes too. So it's nice to kind of meet in the middle somewhere, and he's brought me into more of a hip hop world and sound too. And I think we just, it was meant to be. Love you, Lakewood.
As an artist and as a producer as well, working together to collab, I don't know, like working with other artists, what is your general take on it? Is it like sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's like sometimes it's like, yeah, we're just gonna do this. You guys kind of have like a kind of an interesting collaboration right now happening. You want to expand upon like what you guys are doing, kind of?
Well, I feel like we're just making music.
Yeah.
We have something we want to create, and he'll come to me sometimes with like, oh, let's try to make a house track today, and he'll send it my way, and it's a collaboration in that sense. Like, I feel like we both want to create some beautiful music together.
It comes naturally. I think we're just lucky that we're on the same page and we know like our uses and our skills, and like we just know how to work together for like one goal, one common goal, like to make a song. Like we just, we know what to do. We just got to do it pretty much. Like it just, there's a lot of music inside of us, and we just got to let it out. Yeah.
And we took this record to get mixed by my friend Alex Gaza, and he's kind of engineered a lot of the vocals too.
Gosman. Yeah.
Did a great job, and he had a lot of things to play with in the studio. I think we picked up, what was the bass that you used there?
Oh yeah, he had a Moog. Got to use a Moog.
That was really fun to watch.
He had a Rhodes in there. He had a Wurlitzer in there. He had all types of shit. It was fun. I had fun.
All right, so I wanted to ask. I asked this in my last podcast, and it was a hit or miss or whatever. It could go both ways, but this is really more just like to see what you guys think. Like in the future, when people are flying in spaceships, and they're just going way out into the boonies of space. What do you think people will think of music?
They're gonna need that shit.
Yeah, I'll be like super into like heady, nerdy sci-fi shit, and they talk about like other universes are really, really far away, like light years away. So right now, technically, we're making music right now in the present, but they probably not gonna get it or even our signal until like way later. So for all we know, they listening to like Buddy Holly or some Elvis or something like from like a long time. Yeah, at this point. Yeah. So I feel like that's what's kind of dope about these signals in it, and just to like bring it back here is like we can. No matter how old your song is or how new it is, like, it's relative new to somebody. So, like, if they find it 50 years from now and they hear that shit and it connects with them, that, it's going to be a brand new song to them. It's somebody who, who's 6 years old who just found Etta James or the Isley Brothers or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's brand new to them, and they're going to rock with it.
So there's more sounds to pull from once you're out in space. All those, like, things we never heard before just inspire more music.
I'm scared of the future of the new music that's made. Like, I'm happy. It gives me a good feeling that all these tangible physical songs that we have are not going to change, and they're going to be there forever. But man, they're having robots do everything these days. AI. They already have AI like mixing and mastering our shit. Yeah, they're gonna have AI like, type in a lo-fi, R&B, fucking. They're gonna take Lakewood's job.
Roots and get a little more raw too. Like,
yeah.
Space music.
Space music, yeah, for real.
Which is what you were saying though. Like once somebody listens to it, they hear that energy that you recorded.
Yeah.
And that energy that you're putting onto the disc or whatever the format is, you're recording your energy, and they're gonna feel that, which is so nice. Yeah, which what you mean? Like they're gonna need it out in space, like just out.
It could sound good, but it's gotta feel good too.
Trying to smoke some space weed and listen to some shit. That's what I heard.
So, what do you guys want when people listen to your music? When they listen to your energy, what do you want people to listen to, or how do you want them to listen to it?
I want to just connect with people on an emotional level. I think we were having a conversation about, even to go back to Got It Bad, like an emotional intelligence that you can apply into a music. When you're communicating an emotion, you can help someone get through it when you verbalize the steps, or like, you know, or sonically if your voice hits those points emotionally where you're like, oh, I know what that felt like before, to be in a situation like, oh, I really like it, but it's not good for me, and having to separate yourself from that. Like, so I feel like when people to listen to my music, I love for them to connect on an emotional level. I always want to be able to raise the vibration, you know, uplift some type of positive energy from them, or give them something that they can take with and grow from, you know. So super intentional in that. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. I feel like my life has been changed by music so many times, and just inspired me and got me to act on things that I feel like it's a way of encouraging people. It's a way of healing people. I mean, it heals me just to make my own music. And I hope that when people listen to it, it's something they can benefit from, and like raising their energy, like being a better person because of it, and or just learning something. Maybe even I've learned so much just from listening to people's lyrics and things I never knew. So I feel like it's just a way to heal people.
I'm gonna sound like an asshole, but I honestly don't care what y'all think. I don't care what you think about music. I don't care if you listen to my music. I do that shit
And that's
to heal myself and to heal my soul. You could buy or tape it, like throw it in the trash can in front of me, dude. I will say thank you for the $10. You have a great rest of your day. Like it's not for anybody else but me. At the end of the day, I do it because it makes me feel good.
I feel like that's the baseline though. Like,
And maybe I'm selfish, but like, I'm glad when people like it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like cool.
it's good that people like it, and we
doesn't
want people to
matter.
connect. But like on a base level, it's like we have to. I got to do this. Like, this is how I work my shit out on the inside of me. And then if they connect to it, then they feel how I felt before. So that's why we're a mirror. We're linked like that. But yeah, like what Lake was saying, like, I'm gonna do this either way. Like, whether you listen today or you stop listening tomorrow, like, it's for new people. You know what I mean? Like, the intention is to reach new people, or for me to just rock with it. So as long as I like it, it don't matter.
Exactly. See, I like that too. I be bumping my own shit
all the time. Yeah.
No, you gotta heal yourself to heal other people.
Facts. You can't be talking about healing or in any emotional anything if you're not taking the time to do the work. But
I make shit that sounds good to me. I make shit that I want to listen to. That's it.
So, if you guys had to go in the studio with either Billie Holiday, George Martin, or Jay Dilla, who would it be? One person.
I'm going with JD for sure.
Dilla all day.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd rather just see Billie Holiday in a live setting. I don't know.
She
how
could
she'd
go
play.
to the studio with Billie
Like,
Holiday.
yeah,
We're
go
gonna be
with
there.
Billie,
We're gonna be
yeah.
with
I'm down for
JD.
Jay Dilla too. Like, I gotta work with that guy.
Yeah, like for real, RIP. Like, I would hope that we go to strip club together and go eat some chicken wings, and then we go back to the studio
We're
and make
gonna
some.
go dig for some records.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, have some
Use that
donuts.
MPC.
You know, like, yeah, I would definitely want to work with Jay Dilla. He's worked with some of my favorite artists as a whole thing. So I'm going with JD for sure.
RIP.
Yeah, RIP.
I only mention them because, of course, like, if you could take one.
George Martin. George
George Martin?
He's a producer for the Beatles. Or he was the producer for the Beatles.
Oh, okay.
JD.
I like, hey, no, don't get me wrong. I like
Yo, the Beatles were pretty big.
yeah, definitely,
This is what it is.
Yeah, shout out to the Beatles and all that.
If money was not a problem, what would you do? If you had all the money in the world, what would be?
I'd still be singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you make a music video? Would you?
Yeah, like I would be. Oh, if money was not a problem.
It was not a problem.
Oh, I totally heard that wrong. But either way, I'm going to be singing.
Yeah.
I feel like my dream is to make my imagination into real life. And if I had an endless budget, then I would be doing the most crazy visuals. Like, I love the visual part of music just as much as I love the sonic part. And I feel like if I had all possibilities to do that, I'd still be doing that.
Cool. Nice. How about you guys?
Well, I had a bunch of horrible thoughts. But
Me too.
don't
give me all. Don't let money not be a problem for me.
That's probably not a good idea. No.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Lake house in the woods, dude. Everything. Have everything I need in there, and a bunch of cats, and the girl I love, and that'd be it, bro. Just it.
That'd be cool.
Nobody fucking bugging me, and just make my music, play with the cats.
Shout out Coco.
Shout out Coco. I buy Coco a bunch of shit, and that's what I would do.
I'd probably still be creating. You know, I've always wanted to buy a cul-de-sac or some shit, like buy a big ass property for my whole family and that kind of thing. Have a spot on every coast and get a spot on an island. Buy my girl crib in Puerto Rico, like that kind of thing. But just making stuff, I don't know. I'm kind of weird about money though too. I feel like if I had a bunch of it, I'd probably start giving that shit away.
I hate money.
Yeah, money is weird.
Don't give me.
Yeah, capitalism's kind of crazy.
I never really thought of my life as like having so much money and like having that as one of my goals. Like my biggest goal is just to be happy on a day to day, you know. So I'm just like,
yeah, y'all wouldn't hear from me. I'll be in some weird place all the time. I'll be like in Switzerland in the mountains, or I'd be like, I'm at this lake.
I'd probably be in Tibet for sure. I'd be thinking about what I'd do if I didn't have no money. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought like I'll shave my head and go be a monk in Tibet. That's all I'll be on.
I want to know what that's like. I was just talking to somebody about that.
Would you try it?
It's like leaving all possessions.
Just to know where my mental blocks are when it comes to technology. Like I know that I have so much that I rely on that if I couldn't rely on it, I'd probably think a lot differently.
I probably think differently. I had all the money in the world too. I don't know.
It's an intoxicating thing. Like when you almost have too much money, you're like, I don't know what to do, and then you just don't really feel like that drive or something. Whatever that is, leave that up for those millionaires over there. But I really like that you said that you would keep on doing like the visual aspect. I watched a couple of your music videos that you have. They're really cool. What you're saying is like visually appealing. It's very attractive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys also have a music video that's coming out.
Yeah. I have a 2-piece video coming out. It's half of Worried For, half of Got It Bad, and then Cam and I are working on a visual right now for Got It Bad for full length. And it's been just getting my visions to come to life has been super exciting. I've always been a bit of a visual artist, and I see it in my head, and I'll do literally anything I can to get it in physical form. And usually by the time it's out, it's like, it's pretty close to what's in my head. A little bit different because you work with people, and they can bring it to life in a lot of different ways. And it's just super exciting to see the imagination come into reality. Yeah, the video is going to be a bit metaphorical. It's a snake and the apple from my being raised in a bit of a Southern Baptist way. I have all of these stories that I still understand and write about because it's been a big influence. And to me, this is like a metaphor of, the relationship to the snake is like my relationship to the person in the song. And then I have the temptation as the apple. And then what happens when I bite the apple is I burst out into all of these crazy red rubies because I'm this precious gem that I had no idea I was. And then pieces of me are falling out. And then somebody takes those pieces and uses them for their benefit. And I'm like just becoming aware of it. And that song is, that's what Got It Bad really is about to me. Even though it feels like such a love song, it's very much, when you got it, it's not, if you got it bad, it's not always a good thing.
That's that one line. Is that Billie Holiday, by the way?
It's a lot of people. Nina Simone. Nina Simone did it best, I think. I got it bad, and that ain't good. Yeah. And I feel like it was just a good representation of it. I always like to go a little dark with my concepts, and it's going to be kind of uncomfortable to watch, I think, which is what I'm looking forward to.
It's going to make you feel some type of way.
Definitely.
Oh.
Some type of way.
Yeah.
Y'all let me know.
Yeah, that's cool.
And for the record, man, I've seen her put in so much work to all the videos, all the visual aspects of the entire album. Like everything came to life, like from her mind. She just worked hard to make everything happen. And the way you see it, like I'm just saying.
Came into my house, my new apartment, and I was like building a cocoon in my corner of my studio. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm building a chrysalis." And I just had all this shit.
But she really did that all. Like she doesn't have a crazy team of like people helping her to make these things. Like she's done all that for the album, and like which is sick, you know, because it's all came from her, all the ideas, all the lyrics, what the whole theme and what it's about. So it's been cool seeing her like express that visually as well.
I need to do that,
you know?
just as much as I need to sing. Like, I feel like every time I have a song, I have a visual that goes with it. It's just as I'm writing it, as I'm in the studio listening to it, I just have all these like crazy things come in my head, and sometimes they're really bad. Like, I had this one song where I want to do a Christmas music video with Santa Claus, and I was falling in love with him. And I was like, the next day I was like, whoa.
Oh, this Christmas song.
Oh no, that vision was. You remember that? Yeah, I've had some interesting, like, not so great visions, but like when I do have one I can trust, it's like one I can't get out of my head. Like, damn it, I wish that this one was just a little bit cheaper budget to have rubies coming out of my skin, but like, I don't know, I saved a little bit of money, put it towards it. I'm happy to see that come to life. I don't care how hard I have to work. It's just, it has to happen to represent that song.
And when is that? When do you think that's gonna drop?
It's in a couple days.
Oh, in a couple days.
Yeah, so by the time this thing's out, it's probably gonna be out.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Looking forward to that then. Well, I think we're almost about done here, but any shout outs you guys want to give it to anybody?
Once again, Green and Gold, my lovely,
Green and Gold,
beautiful friends and family.
Green and Gold. Daddy Kev, Alpha Pup, Cam Gnarly, Phantom Thread.
And thanks to everyone who encouraged me and inspired me to keep doing this. And thank you for, making this fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I gotcha.
You guys are so cool.
God, but I was worried for.